At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Let's do this in just a second. Hang on. I got to grab my coffee. And then we're going to do this. Yeah. I'll be right back. All right. Penn State week is upon us. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yo! There's my light right there. You see that right behind me? There it is. There you are. Well, we are set to go. All right. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys had truly a Merry Christmas. I'm going to show off one of my Christmas gifts that I got. My dad, RQ56, who may or may not be in chat, got me this really kick-ass. Oh, look at that. Nothing like a fine cup of coffee in your Arkansas state flag mug. So delicious. All right. Penn State week is among us, or is upon us, I should say. Arkansas basketball, today's the day we're finally going to pick just what the hell, what are the expectations? And I was going to make this our Discord question, but I decided against it. You go over there. There you go. In order to leave the room, I have to move my lighting because this studio room is so tiny. It's small. It's itty bitty. So you open the door and you have to move everything around. So it throws my lighting off just a little bit. We again, I hope you guys. One way or another, this show today is going to go off better. I swear. My mic was muted. My bad. We're not off to a very good start. I forgot it all started because I didn't have my coffee in front of me. So let's try that again. Let's try that from the top, shall we? Our question of the day is what you guys missed out on. Let me start from the top. I was going to do a Arkansas expectations in basketball. I was going to do that. And I figured, you know what, what we may end up doing is saving that for maybe a post game after Mississippi State. That way you guys get a better feel. You get a conference game under your belt and you kind of get a better feel for maybe what to expect. So we'll probably save the expectations for Razorback basketball after Mississippi State. My Discord question of the day, and for those of you who are in Discord, you already know, it's who leads in receptions. Who leads in receptions in the Outback Bowl? And of course, I give you a list of names: Warren Thompson, Ketron Jackson, Devion Warren, Tyson Morris, Trey Knox, or someone else. And so far, Mike Lasuzzo, or Eagle, I'll just call him Eagle because I always mess up his last name. He says Knox or Thompson, hopefully. Jay Haas says Morris or Thompson. I'd like to see Jackson or Crawford take a big step forward. One more 24 says Warren. Throw him in the slot and throw him the ball. Simple, really. Pwendle 23 says Ketron Jackson. He needs to step up since Burks is gone. Broham says, good question. I would say Knox. Swindler says Knox. Randall Cade says Warren Thompson easily. He says he will be asked to replace Burks' production. I mean, you say easily, Randall, but where was he all year? I mean, it's not like they never formally had wide receiver too. So when someone says easily, I'm not saying you're wrong. I feel like that would be my answer. I just don't know that I would put easily in front of that. Or behind, in front of or behind that. I'm not going to say anybody easily. Turkey Twister says Warren. I want to see Devion go off. So he's talking about Devion Warren. Turkey Twister says, and then Big Man Ross says Trey Knox moved to wide receiver and he balls out. Rocket out of the backfield. Kelly coming out there with the Rocket Sanders pick. I like that. That's a bold move. That is a bold move. Thank you, everyone, for the DMs and the Discord. Yes, I know my mic was off. Thank you for letting me know. This thing is real sensitive. You touch the wrong spot and it turns everything off, so you got to be careful. I thought I had it set before, but I guess not. Okay. I'm trying to save as much Penn State talk the closer we get, because there's still some questions. There's still some questions about who the hell's going to play in this bowl game. Penn State's still waiting on 2 or 3 players. In fact, there are some guys missing from their once they, I guess, getting onto the plane. I'm still not entirely sure, who's going to be there and who's not for Penn State. There's a likelihood that there's going to be some guys missing. All right. Thanks to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead. You need to repair or replace your garage door, give these guys a call. They operate out of Northwest Arkansas and Central Arkansas. Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. So we are starting off the new year. We're hoping to bring on some more sponsors. I'm going to actually reach out. I've been talking with several local businesses, and I'm hoping we can strike up a deal for the beginning of 2022, because I think it's going to be an interesting year, especially in football. And, of course, basketball is going to be fascinating to keep an eye on as well from here on out. So, first, let me hang on, let me get caught up on chat here really quick. What up, Alan? How you doing, man? How's it going? Hoyt, hope all's well. Merry Christmas. Tony Brown, what's going on, man? Cody Phillips, move Sanders to wide receiver. Yeah, bowl games all week. I can't wait. So many games have been canceled along the way, and it's getting kind of frustrating. I'm also getting this feeling that, and this was another idea I had jotted down on my notepad on my laptop. Do you feel like bowl games are becoming more and more meaningless? I was talking with someone, an established media member who's often on television. I was talking with him over yesterday about bowl games, and they just feel more and more, or I should say less and less relevant than ever. They're just, and I fully blame the playoffs. I just do. We didn't have this opt-out stuff happen until like a year after, 2-3 years after the playoffs. I feel like now what you've successfully done with the playoffs is made every other bowl game completely pointless. BCS, you had that, like, the belt, right? Like, you won a BCS bowl game. That was a big deal. And while you only had a certain amount of BCS bowls, you still didn't see the opt-outs until shortly after playoffs. I blame the playoffs. I think they've made the rest of, not even without the opt-outs. Look, you guys know where I stand on that. I'm not a fan of anyone not finishing what they started, or for that season. When you think about all the hard work that goes into football, when you think of all the hard work that, and the same goes for staff too. I wish they wouldn't leave their jobs. I wish they could, and sometimes you see this where a coordinator or whatever, position coach will stick out his job until the bowl game, and then afterwards they leave. But it's becoming more and more common that it's clear that coaches and players, if you're not in the playoffs, who the hell cares? I mean, really, that's what it feels like. I don't think that's what's happening in Fayetteville. I think they're all bought in. Outside of Burks, I get it. I'm going to stand by what I said when we talked about Burks' departure. I don't blame anybody. When you're talking about millions of dollars on the line, do you really want to risk it for, even just the Outback Bowl? Now, if you remember, there was a time when the Outback Bowl was a pretty damn good bowl. So that was on my notepad I had jotted down as a question. Do you feel like bowl games are just more and more, are they just irrelevant? We're seeing more opt-outs. Obviously, COVID, I think, plays a pretty big role. It will be a running back, says Big Donnelly. Probably Dom Johnson. Oh, all right. Might be. You never know. Yes, Roar Sports, I'm aware. My microphone was off. Thank you. Your DNs probably blew. Oh, they did. I had quite a few. Expand the playoffs, is Cody Phillips. The matchups are terrible in bowl games. Did you see the Ball State versus Georgia State score? It's getting ridiculous out there, isn't it? Tony Brown says, could you talk about the players only meeting by Devo and Muss? I want to know I don't know anything that was said. Nobody knows what was said as far as I know. No, I haven't. I completely unplugged from social media and everything for like 3 days. I just, every once in a while, I'd kind of drop in on Discord, see what was going on. I'd kind of look around social media a little bit, talked with some people in DMs, but really I completely disconnected over the weekend because when you're doing this, it feels like it's nonstop, right? I'm constantly either I'm talking with folks in DMs or I'm searching up stories or I'm keeping up with what's going on social media or trying to when it comes to players. You're trying to get caught up on Penn State, and you just got to disconnect for a few days, and that's what I did over the weekend. I have no idea what was said with the players only meeting. SEC play for hoops is going to be fun. Michael Kopesky says 9-7. What up, Ty? Mary MS and happy 2022. I don't know what that means. Mary MS. Yeah. So bowl games they're just not as. Oh, sorry, Merry Christmas. Okay, I wasn't sure, Michael, if that was some sort of inside joke that I was not in on. But I feel like bowl games are becoming less and less relevant. I don't think they're as relevant as they once were, and that's really depressing. And again, I do blame the playoffs. I don't blame kids for opting out, but I think, and like someone said in Discord or in our comment section, expand the playoffs. That's how you fix this. I agree. If you listen to coaches, and I've been listening to a lot to several coaches around the league and kind of their thoughts, and it's clear that they like the idea of the playoffs, but they think there needs to be an expansion. Like if you kind of listen to what they say, and obviously I've been listening to Coach Franklin a little bit, who also does not comment on opt-outs, by the way. All right, so this week in Razorback recruiting news, we'll start there. Some pretty cool stuff. Some pretty cool stuff. Not a lot. And again, some of this happened late last week, I believe. Yeah, December 23rd. 4-star Luke Haziz. Or Luke Haz, I like to say Haziz. Luke Haziz. 4-star who's been committed to Oklahoma, was given a crystal ball to Arkansas by Danny West on December 23rd. He wasn't the only one. You had a couple more. You had 3-star defensive back Dallas Young, who I'm told has more than one committable offers from P5 schools, Florida State being one, Colorado being another one. I forgot who the SEC schools. I think there's an SEC school that's at least talking to him or has already given him an offer. And then 3-star linebacker Everett Roussaw, R-O-U-S-S-A-W, 6'2", 215-pound linebacker. He's got offers on the table from Mizzou and Mississippi State. All three of those guys were given crystal balls on, I think they were all on the same day, December 23rd, by Danny West to the Razorbacks. Linebacker, you guys know where I'm at with it, and I think we will all agree linebacker is a position of need, and it has been for like 3 years. We've been saying the day is going to come when you're screwed, when you are screwed at linebacker. And we lucked out. Like Hayden Henry, who would have thought? I always felt pretty good about Bumper Pool. I always thought he was going to level out and be a pretty solid linebacker here. But who would have thought Grant Morgan and Hayden Henry would come along like they have? And you got to give a lot of credit to Coach Odom, for sure. Apparently, Coach Mustor is his rotator cuff, and he's going to wait to have surgery till after the season. Did you see that? Musselman's going to wait to have surgery till after the year. So he better not. We see how angry he gets. Not that he would ever physically harm anybody, nor could he if he wanted to. He's a little fella. He's a little guy. But boy, he sure is wiry. I think one of the players landed on him in practice or something. Hello, what's up, Jenna? How you doing? There's a bowl game going on right now. Is there? Well, that's a disappointment. I heard about that Muss injury. He might have to miss a couple games. I don't know if is he missing time? I've not heard that. All I've heard is he's going to have surgery at the end of the year. Playoffs should go to 8 games and a 2-year rule on being able to transfer. I'm not sure what you mean by a 2-year rule. Are you saying that if a player transfers, they got to wait 2 years? Mac, I want some clarification on that. And I think the expansion should go beyond 8. I think it ought to go to 12 or more, if you want my opinion. You're talking about 130 teams. And I think, too, it'll help make these bowl games relevant. I think you'll see fewer opt-outs. And I think fans will, in my opinion, postseason baseball, there's not much. I love postseason Major League Baseball. Playoffs in the NFL, and the only time you'll ever catch me watching hockey is in the playoffs, if I watch any at all, which is not real common. You can't transfer for 2 years? Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I look at the idea of being able to transfer, but it's about immediate eligibility, right? That's the rule that they changed. And if you transfer, you got to sit the year out. I don't know. Maybe you go back to that. Maybe you can't transfer until you're going into your junior year is what he's saying. Yeah, I get what he's saying. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't think I would dig that. I think you got to let a player you get on campus your freshman year, and while I would preach patience to any 17, 18-year-old kid going to college, like, hey, give it time, you still got to give them that option. Now, you can make the comment that when should they be eligible when they get to their new school? And again, the old rule was you weren't immediately eligible. You had to sit that year out. Playoffs should be 5 conference champions and 7 at large, 12-team playoff. See, that's a step in the right direction. The word on the hill is Bumper is 65-35 coming back. We'll know for sure. It's weird to me that he accepted that NFLPA bowl invite because, as I understand it, you can only participate in that bowl if you, or maybe I'm wrong on this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I'm not stating that I know this for a fact. If you participate in the NFLPA bowl, am I getting that right? The bowl game that he just recently agreed to play in. It's the Players Association Bowl or whatever. As I understand it, by then your intentions have to be made clear because you have until January, I think it's 14th. It's the middle of January to announce as to whether or not you're going pro. So we'll know within the next week or so whether or not Bumper's coming back. I wish he'd just come out now and say it, but it'd be even cooler. Let's say Arkansas, they win their bowl game. How big would that be at the end of the game? And he goes, I'm coming back. Could you imagine that? Like, that would be so awesome. Just join. Have you covered football updates? We kind of went over some of the recruiting stuff. Bumps fam was sitting behind me at the Mizzou game. They said he changed his mind daily. Oh boy. You can accept the invite, but opt out. Right. If you play in the bowl, you can accept the invite, but if you play in the bowl, I don't think you can return. Yeah, if he plays in it, he's gone. That's how I understand it as well. He said he's trying to postpone until after the season, but it's reported that he's in extreme pain. I get it because if he has to have surgery, he's going to miss some time, right? And so I get it, but good Lord, he's going to be in some pain this year. Does that have an effect on the Razorbacks this season? Does that have an effect on his ability to coach? Trey Wade landed on him. Okay, it was Trey Wade. All right. For some reason, I was thinking Tony or somebody, but yeah, either way, those are big guys. Wade is a big dude. So Wade fell on Coach Musk. Penn State and Outback Bowl updates. I got quite a bit here. And again, we're piecing this thing together. We're not going to have a show on Friday, but I will have 3 shows this week. My idea is probably Wednesday, and then maybe we'll do a show on Thursday evening. We're not going to go live on Friday. We're going to have family over, so I won't be able to go live on Friday. So we'll probably more than likely, we'll do our post-game after Mississippi State, right? We'll do our hang on a second. What time is that Mississippi State game? You guys know? I don't. Let me look. Scroll. This is a big game. Yeah, okay. It's 8 p.m. So Wednesday we'll probably talk a little bit about Mississippi State. We'll get caught up on some more Penn State stuff, and then we'll do the post game that Wednesday. So maybe Thursday evening. I don't know that we're going to do a Thursday morning show. I don't know. Just, again, make sure you hit the notification bell. This is that period, and this is what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. It's going to get interesting this time of year because I'm going to have to schedule around some stuff. So just bear with me. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell, and hopefully you'll get those notifications. My plan is right now I'm for sure doing today's show, Wednesday, and the postgame show. We could also wrap everything up in the Wednesday night show and then just not have a Friday show. That is also a possibility. Again, I will let you guys know that Wednesday night. And, of course, if you're in Discord, we'll discuss it. So, all right, Penn State questions. What up, Ty? How you doing, bro? What's up, Frederick? How you doing, man? Is it 8 p.m.? No, it's an 8 p.m. game. Oh, my God. On a Wednesday night. Come on, man. Not cool. So we might have to wait we'll do the post game. I don't know if I'm going to do an entire recap. Follow that by more Penn State talk. We may just have to wait till Thursday. Damn it. It is. It's 8 p.m. That is correct. That sucks. 8 p.m. going to suck. Yeah. What'd you get for Christmas? Well, I got this. My dad, Arky56. He probably forgot his login account information once again. I'm surprised he's not here, but I got this. I got some Axe, the the Axe set. You get like the deodorant, shampoo, and body wash. I got you get them I got one of those. Yeah, David Lawrence, get those likes up, people. Yeah, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Did anything ever happen with Norwood? No movement on Norwood. No movement. Last I heard, I talked with someone last week about that, and there's still no movement. Arkansas has not officially offered Norwood. Now, that doesn't mean they won't. That doesn't mean they're not in communication with him. They might still be talking to him, but I don't know that they've officially given him an offer yet. So there's been no movement on Norwood as of right now. That could end. We may know something by today. I don't know. Keep your ears to the ground, as I always say. Axe said, I got that too. Perfect gift, Ty. Us men got to stay fresh. That's right. I got my dad the Old Spice set. Now he shaves his head entirely, so I didn't give him any shampoo. It's the body wash set. And I gotta say, I think he got a pretty good deal because it came with its own bag, its own little Old Spice bag, and the lotion smells so good. Man, guys, we gotta lather up the lotion more often. My wife tells me that all the time because I've got the dry spots on the elbow. All right, Penn State Outback Bowl updates. Let's do it. Both big-time linebackers, Brandon Smith and Ellis Brooks. You switch his first and last name around, you got Brooks Ellis. See that? Yeah, see that? They're both headed to the NFL. They will not be participating in the bowl game. I know that's kind of old news. Curtis Jacobs is going to be the only returning starter at linebacker for Penn State going into the Outback Bowl. Jacobs played more of an outside linebacker role this year, covering outside space in the second level of the defense. I watched a little bit. He's pretty rangy for someone who's 6'1", 6'2", about 235. If you know anything about Penn State, there's a period of time when they are considered linebacker U. Like they were producing all kinds of NFL linebacker talent under Joe Pa, and they have a reputation for being one of the most sound defenses year in and year out, no matter who the coaches are. No matter if this focus seems to be on offense or not, it seems like defense is a really big deal there. And if you pay attention to their numbers, they don't give up a lot of points. Penn State does not give up a lot of scores. They don't give up a lot of easy scores. And to me, when they were healthy, full strength, I would argue they were one of the better defenses in the Big Ten. And, as the year went on, they kind of dropped a little bit. Their run defense, I think, they're middle of the pack in the college football landscape. Their run defense is an area that might give them a little pause for concern against Arkansas because of how well and how physical Arkansas is with the run game. You could see Curtis Jacobs move to the inside against Arkansas. Jacobs totaled 50-plus tackles and a couple of sacks along with several other quarterback hurries. Moves really well with the 6'2", 6'1", 235 frame. We're all still waiting to hear from the All Big Ten wideout Jahan Dotson, All Big Ten safety Jaquan Brisker, and All Big Ten defensive end Arnold, whose last name is so complicated. Ibaikai. I don't know. This is one of the hardest last names. I was working on this last night. Ibekatai. Ebiketie. Ibekati. Whatever. They weren't spotted with the team arrival at the time of my note taking for the Monday show. So this was Sunday night. Other possible linebackers we could see, or other possible players on defense, we could see Jesse Luketa. Luketa racked up 50 or so stops with an interception. Again, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce his last name, or Luketa. I don't know. Again, these names, I tell you. And then another guy you could see kind of play a little bit, safety linebacker hybrid Jonathan Sutherland, who ended up with 19 stops and an interception. Some other names you could see that haven't really participated much on defense for Penn State, guys like Charlie Catshier, Tyler Ellison, Kobe King. King might be unlikely because if he plays, it'll burn his red shirt, so we may not see Kobe King. But, yeah, these are some names you might want to familiarize yourself a little bit with, assuming I'm not even prepared to say they're going to have a bowl game. I realize they left for Florida last night and they left yesterday kind of late afternoon. They got there last night. Even though they're there, I'm not going to say it's for sure happening until kickoff. I just with COVID and the way things have worked out, I'm still not prepared to say, oh yeah, the bowl game is for sure going down. I'm just not there yet. I'm not there because we've seen some crazy stuff happen this bowl season. So it's messed everything up, man. All these opt-outs and guys, not playing, we feel like are probably because of COVID, but they can't, coaches can't come out and say that one way or another. The bowl pick'ems this year is a mess. By the way, I haven't looked at that, I need to post that link here in a minute. We'll get an update on that, see how everybody's doing. I'm sure I'm probably doing as well as my fantasy team did this weekend. I got eliminated out of the winners bracket this weekend. Too many IRs, too many guys hitting the IRs, too many injuries. I'm surprised I even made the winners bracket. Top 2 scorer like all year until the last couple of weeks. Top 2 scorer in my league. Couldn't keep Waller healthy, couldn't keep Hopkins healthy. Obviously I lost McCaffrey. That was a blow, man. That was a blow. Big one. I had some more injuries. The Jets running back, Carter, he went out. It's amazing I made the winners bracket at all. It's amazing I was top 2, top 3 scorer all year. And then the last couple of weeks, my production just tanked, and I knew I wouldn't last long. Made it past the first round of the winners bracket, though. Betting odds for the Outback Bowl. Penn State opened up as a 3-point favorite against Arkansas, but bettors so far have started to favor Arkansas according to early data from DraftKings. The sports betting site reports, and again, that's DraftKings, that 55% of bettors favor Arkansas against the spread, currently at 2.5 points, while the money is split almost evenly in favor of Arkansas, 51-49. On the money line, 69% of bettors favor Arkansas at plus 105, and 77% of the handle is on the Razorbacks. So far, it looks like people in Vegas are starting to lean towards Arkansas. I think with what's happened with Penn State on their staff, and we're going to talk about what's going on with their staff later on this week. It's a little bit of a mess. And you talk about all their opt-outs, and then there's still the possibility they could lose a couple more guys, possibly their big-time receiver on offense, who we just mentioned. It's just a mess. And again, this is why if you're going to gamble, I would wait until the last minute before you could put your money down. I don't know why anybody, especially not knowing whether or not the bowl game's going to happen to begin with, but then you've got these guys opting out and, guys getting COVID and all this. It's a mess. I had someone DM me last night if I was putting money on the game, and I said, hell no. Hell no, I'm not putting any money on the game. No. I don't sports gamble. The most I do is fantasy football, and we have a buy-in of like, what is it, $25. Not even that much. There you guys go with the bruz. Cowboys playoff eligible. How about that? How far do they go? How far do the Cowboys go? The Rams. That's right. You see that helmet back there. Rams, they're playoff bound. My fantasy team was in shambles, went running back heavy with Chubb, Swift, Barkley. All were gone for a long period of time throughout the year. Yeah, I'm telling you. You can bet if the game will be canceled or not. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Wasn't Penn State ranked 4th for a couple of weeks at the beginning? I don't know. Yeah, they kind of were like Arkansas. Well, they came in the year ranked. I think they were somewhere hovering around the top 20, if I remember right. And then fast forward a little bit, ran into some stuff. They were obviously kind of overhyped. SEC is over so far with Florida, Mizzou losses. Yeah, but I'm not putting much stock. I mean, I don't know. It's strange. I don't know what you're talking about, Cody. A bike tie? It's T-Y, not T-Y-E. All right, I'm not Ty Richardson. I don't know what you're talking about. A bike? It's also Roots. It's also Roots for Cowboys. Nice win. Yeah. One and done for the Cowgirls. You can work and function with a torn rotator, but it's rough, says Michael Kopesky. Oof. Yep. Oof, oof, oof. I want to know, what'd you guys get for Christmas? You guys are asking me. I got some cool stuff. Like I said, I got the bathroom axe set. And the recruit's last name you couldn't. A bike tie? Oh, is that how you pronounce his name? Hang on, let me look. Let me scroll up here. I'm telling you, that is the most complicated last name. I see what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, you got to preference what you're talking about. I'm obviously a good 30 seconds ahead of you guys. You got to tell me on the player's name, Ty. Maybe it's this. But I do appreciate what you're doing. A bike tie. I think you're probably right. A bike tie. It's spelled Ebiketie. A Beckety. A bike tie. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I watched highlights. I was listening to some Penn State stuff. I didn't really hear his name called at all. And I was listening in on Franklin's, some of his interviews that he's given. And I never heard his name. And if someone mentioned it, it was real quick. So, yeah, I never solidified how to pronounce his last name correctly. I know, it's just Ty. Oh, okay. Ty, you just lost cool points for the Cowgirls. I'm sorry, I don't like the Cowboys. I just don't. I never have. I'm sorry. I know so many Razorback fans are either Chiefs fans or Cowboys fans, and I'm a Ram guy. Have been since they moved to St. Louis, and then I stuck with them when they went back to L.A. Which is weird to root for a team out of L.A. being a Celtics fan. Dude, if I'm right, that is funny. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. That could be his last name. And I get it. Not everyone's got an easy, simple last name. It's just about how often you hear a name like that, right? And then it's like it's in your brain and you get it and you can pronounce it correctly when you don't see a name very often. Like Al-Jabutu. I remember reading his last name in the paper. I was in, junior high. And yeah, I read the sports section. I mean, come on, is that really so hard to imagine? I mean, look at what I'm doing now. Of course, I was reading a sports section in like 8th grade, but I remember reading his name and I couldn't, none of us could pronounce it. Now it's like, I couldn't spell it today, but I know as soon as I see that name somewhere, I'm like, oh yeah, Al-Jabutu. Yeah, of course. Sam Al-Jabutu. Who doesn't know, I remember Tony Bua. I remember people trying to pronounce his last name like Bois. Titans fan here. See, I don't mind the Titans. Cowboys fan. It's not like I hate Dallas, but boy, their fans are pretty brutal. Al-Jabutu. Yep, I remember it. Yeah, they did beat. Yeah, Nick Yates brings up that Penn State beat Auburn week 2 at home. If you go back and watch that game, and I remember watching it, I watched the second half and tidbits of the first half. And it was such a sloppy game for officiating. It was terrible. Officiating was bad. I think Auburn honestly could have won that game and probably should have won that game. Penn State did. You felt like Penn State kind of snuck out at home. But if you look at Penn State's combined losses, they don't get blown out. They're a defensive-oriented team. We know they've lost some bits and pieces. They've lost their D coordinator. They've got Miami's guy in, and I listened to him, talked about his preference on defense and what he likes to do. But you're not going to be facing Diaz. You're not going to be facing him. You're going to be facing their co-defensive coordinator all year, Poindexter, and that is his real last name, by the way. He's going to be calling the defense. Franklin talked about that in his presser. Steelers fans at 74. There are a lot of Steelers fans around here. In Northwest Arkansas, I've seen several, yeah. You don't see many Ram fans around here. I feel like I'm the only one. Would you be a Cowboys fan for $10,000? Well, I'll cheer anybody on for $10,000, Joe. I thought they were asking Ty if he got a bike for. Yeah, I was too, Mike. I wasn't real sure. Gift cards to Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. Now, I'm just not a Starbucks guy. I hope you like Starbucks. I'm not. I'm a 7 Brew guy. Mostly because I want to support local businesses, and I just not a fan of Starbucks coffee. Like their straight up black coffee is pretty good. I used to buy the stuff you can bring home. Ain't enough money in the world to be a Cowgirls fan. Hey man, you give me $10,000, I'll root on just about anybody for until I cash that check, and then I'm no longer. No, you couldn't buy my permanent fandom to be a Cowboy fan for $10,000. No, I stuck with the Rams when they left St. Louis. That was tough. I was having a crisis. I didn't know what to do. In fact, Torrey Holt, for those of you who are old enough to remember The Greatest Show on Turf, you had Isaac Bruce, who was my all-time favorite receiver. My very first NFL jersey was the Isaac Bruce jersey from 90. He was drafted in 94 from Memphis. And that was when the Rams moved to St. Louis. So you had Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Ricky Prohl. I got into an argument with Torrey Holt. Here's Torrey Holt arguing with some random fan on Twitter, me, and I'm going on about I was so angry about the organization leaving St. Louis. I was like, to hell with this. I'm not rooting on. They're leaving St. Louis. And I kind of, I gave it a little bit of time, and even though they were awful in LA, their first couple of years, I stuck it out with them, and I kept cheering them on, and it was tough. And then they hired McVay, and I thought, all right, we'll see. You had Goff, who's already kind of established, who had already been here for a year. Was never super high on Goff, but I stuck it out with them, and that was before they got McVay. It's not like – and it's the same thing with The Greatest Show on Turf. I'll tell people I'm a Ram fan, and they'll always say, oh, because of The Greatest Show on Turf. No, I was a Ram fan the day they moved to St. Louis from L.A., which was 94. And I remember they drafted Jerome Bettis. They used to play in the outfield at the old Busch Stadium. I always wanted to watch them play there. Thought that would have been really cool. Can't wait to see American Underdog. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I'm not – listen, some of the religious films, let's just be honest, they're pretty cheesy. Let's just call it like it is. And that's not me hating on Christianity or religion or whatever. They are usually bad movies. They're usually not very good. I feel like this is going to be kind of a religious flick. Kurt Warner is very religious, him and his wife. But I am a huge Kurt Warner fan. The Greatest Show on Turf doesn't work without Kurt Warner. Of course, Mike Martz and Isaac and Marshall and Ricky Prohl and Torrey Holt. But I'm excited to see it. I do want to watch it. I'm pretty excited. Starbucks ain't it. Chiracs in Jonesboro? I've never heard of that. Chiracs? Am I pronouncing that right, Kelly? Chiracs. Have you had Cowgirl coffee? Randy, I don't know what you're talking about, my man. I'll be on Pins and Needles this week. Thoughts on the Rams' newish look? I love it. I love the helmet. I already have an Aaron Donald jersey. I had to wait 9 months to get it. It was at least 6 months. I love it, man. Now, I don't know how I feel about they have the cream color. I'm not a fan of that cream color. I like the blue and the yellow, and it's sexy. I love it. The helmet, the logo, I like it all. I just switched my PSN account to the Ram logo. I'm a big fan. Shadracks. Oh, is it Shadracks with a D? Okay, I've never heard of it. Shadracks. Okay, Bengals players led me. Did you see? Speaking of the Bengals, did you guys see what Burrow did yesterday in Cincinnati? Holy earmuffs, kids! Holy shit! 525 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns. Are you serious? Girls serve coffee in a bikini. Okay. Huh. 49er for life. That was the very first player I ever cheered on as a kid, Joe Montana. Joe Montana and Jerry Rice didn't get much better. I did, and I had contemplated sticking with the Niners. I had a cousin. My cousin Danny was a diehard Niners fan. I kind of kept up with him, but as soon as I got a little bit older and I found myself not really rooting for anybody, I felt like I was a Chief fan for like a little bit when Joe Montana went to Kansas City, but I didn't, because the Rams left Los Angeles for St. Louis, and me being a Cardinal fan, and we have some family history with St. Louis, I felt like, you know what, it's only right that I stick it out and cheer on another St. Louis team. Of course, they had the St. Louis Cardinals. People forget about that, the football organization who left for Arizona, but I was too young, to remember them. And as I got a little older into the 90s, that's when football really became a big part of my life, and I was really loving football. I felt homeless in the NFL. I wanted to root for somebody, and then my dad hands me the paper. I still remember it. I think I was in fourth grade? So it was 94, fourth grade, Jefferson Elementary in Fayetteville. I remember my dad handed me the paper, and he said, looks like St. Louis is getting a football team. And I was, day one, that was it. I was a St. Louis Ram fan. I have my 7th grade picture I posted on Facebook, and it's me wearing my Isaac Bruce jersey. So that would have been 97. So it was long before, a couple of years before the greatest show on turf. Hang on, refreshing. All right, let's get to basketball. Can't root for any team out. It's hard. I'm telling you, Gerard Collins. It's hard. Especially being a Celtics guy and being a Cardinal fan and being from Arkansas. It's weird to root for a team out west. It's weird, but I've stuck it out. How far could Razorback basketball go? You can also answer this. Now, I'm going to give you I'm not going to tell you the exact amount of wins, because I feel like, especially with COVID, and I still don't feel like we know this conference. I still feel like we're still figuring some things out with conference play. But so let's go over the BPI. All right, this is what ESPN's Basketball Power Index says you're going to end up doing. Mississippi State, and I'll just tell you whether or not I agree with it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to say that, yes, I 100% agree they're going to win or lose this game, but I'll kind of give you my feel, right? Mississippi State, December 29th, which is, again, this Wednesday. They have you as a loss. Arkansas is a loss, according to BPI. Basketball Power Index, okay? For those of you just joining us. Vanderbilt, at home. You're favored by the BPI. That's on January 4th. Texas A&M, BPI, says loss. All right, those right there. I agree. I don't like Arkansas against Mississippi State. I just don't. I think it's going to be a matchup problem. And I'm not sold that Arkansas has it all figured out. I'm just not sold on it yet. I realize against the Fighting Teslas, against Elon, we got to see a little bit of Jackson Robinson. We saw a lot more of some other guys. We didn't see Tony play, who I think we would all agree for the first 8 games of the year was the MVP of the season. And then he kind of, When he's gone the way of the dodo bird these last 2 or 3 games. Now, maybe some of that was because they wanted to rest him, but that doesn't make much sense to me because then why didn't you rest some of these other guys? You know, J.D. Notae still got a lot of minutes, and I would argue he's your best player. And he's got to be the guy to take the most shots, right? Maybe it's Wade. Maybe it's Jackson Robinson. Maybe it's getting KK on the floor more and getting him more acclimated to being a heavy rotating player because he hasn't been. I don't know what the answers are here, but I don't like their odds against Mississippi State. I do agree with the BPI on Arkansas beating Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's not off to a great start. At Texas A&M, BPI says that's a loss on January 8th. I would agree with that. Mizzou at home on January 12th, BPI says win. At LSU, I think we all know right now LSU with that bought and paid for roster. I said it. So much evidence. So much right there. Nothing's happening. They're going to go on. I feel like every game this year, hopefully I'm putting asterisks next to all of LSU's wins this year. But the BPI says on January 15th, yes, Arkansas is going to lose that game. Joe now wants to know if I'd be a Cowboy fan for $10 million. I don't know. No. I mean, I think you'd be dead ass crazy to turn down $10 million. Sure. But I'm still going to be a Ram fan. I'll be that fan. I'll be that guy that's got, everybody knows that guy, right? Everybody has that friend. Oh, I'm a Patriots fan. Or I'm wherever LeBron James is currently playing fan. Ugh. LSU loss. I agree with that. You're coming home. This is game 6 in SEC play. They've got to win against South Carolina. So that's, let's see, 1-1. 1-2, 2-2, 2-3, 3-3. So your first 6 games, the BPI likes you at 3-3. Texas A&M at home, BPI says that's going to be a win on January 22nd. Ole Miss. Now, please, if I'm wrong on any of these, let me know. Go back and look and correct me. I was getting hurried by the wife, and I don't know if she's watching this or not. She usually is watching these shows. She was kind of hurrying me along, so I was trying to fill this out as quick as I could. Oh, someone's going to tag her on Discord. Your husband was throwing you under the bus. Game 8 in SEC play against Ole Miss. BPI says that's a win. I agree with that. So far, I feel like right now the BPI and I are on the same page. This is the toss-up. West Virginia on January 29th. BPI likes Arkansas. I get that game's in Bud Walton. Right now, I would chalk that up for me as a question mark. I'm not, and really all these games, because like I said, we still don't feel like we know the SEC. At Georgia, BPI says that's a win. I'm not even so sure that that's a win. Arkansas, granted, they did go to KC and they won, but they went to Tulsa, played like complete shit, went to Little Rock, played like complete shit. And that's in front of home crowds. The Tulsa game, I've heard it was like 70-30 Arkansas. I'm just not sold that they can win. Any game for them is automatic on the road, and BPI likes them. I'm going to say no, and I get Georgia's not looked so good. I get that. I would probably say I'm at the least it's a question mark. I'm not prepared, and I think BPI liked Arkansas. I want to say it was in the 60% range, which isn't real high. Mississippi State at home on I don't have a date. That's sometime in February. I didn't write the dates for that. But that's a February matchup, and that's week 10. So according to the BPI, you can go on a pretty nice win streak. That's one starting on SEC game 6, January 18th. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, including the West Virginia game, 5, 6 straight wins. You're going to take that all day long. And I'm not saying that's impossible. It might be, but then you come home against Auburn. They have that. BPI is an L. That's a loss. At Bama, obviously we think that's an L. On the road against Mizzou, I'm going to put that as a question mark. BPI says win. At home against Tennessee, I hate I hate this stretch. This might be one of the toughest stretches going all the way back. Okay, go all the way back to your 11th matchup. It's a February game, mid-February game against Auburn. BPI has that a loss. Auburn at Bama, at Mizzou. It's a road game. I get it. It's Mizzou, but we know who their coach is. We know they're going to be tough. Tennessee at home, at Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Tennessee on the road for your second matchup against Tennessee. I don't like that you have to play Tennessee twice. That is a tough stretch of games. So BPI says Auburn's a loss. Your 12th SEC game against Bama, a loss. On the road against Mizzou's a win. Your game 13. Game 14, Tennessee. BPI says that's a loss. Florida, loss. Kentucky, loss. LSU, loss. Tennessee, loss. So the BPI thinks you're going to be on the outside looking in for the tournament. Going into SEC tournament play, that would put you at, 19 wins? That's doable, but you've got to make a run in the SEC tournament. And what I'm going to say is Mississippi State, which is your December 29th game, starting tomorrow, or Wednesday rather, you better win the hell out of some games in the month of January. Because February gets tough. Yeah, okay, you start off February against Georgia on the road, which is a toss-up game. Yeah, you probably would lean towards Arkansas, but I don't think there's an automatic anywhere for Arkansas, home or on the road. Because, we just don't know enough about the Hogs, and we don't know enough about the SEC. I don't feel like we do anyways. Then you get Mississippi State at home. These are two games that are winnable. Then you got Auburn. Right now, I would chalk that up as a for sure L at the moment. And then you're at Bama, at Mizzou, at home against Tennessee, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Your January has got to set up the month of February where you don't have all this pressure. And this was something Mike Anderson often had to do. He would struggle in January, the easier part of the schedule typically, it seemed like. Not always true every year, but some years it felt like that was the easier part of his schedule. And he would struggle, and he'd have to win in those final 2 weeks of February. He'd have to win those, final 5-6 games or whatever. Final three, really the entire month of February. He'd put the pressure on himself. And with the way the way the selection committee works and everything, I don't know how much they favor teams that are on fire or not. I don't really know. What I will say is they do like, and we hear this all the time, it's just simply based on the amount of wins and the quad one wins. Your non-conference schedule was shit. All right. And then on top of that, you lost to Oklahoma at a neutral site, which sounded to me like it was more of a home game, but whatever. I don't know how the selection committee would view that. You got destroyed against Oklahoma. And then you lost to Hofstra at Little Rock. Your non-conference schedule was a joke. You may have to, and depending on the reputation of the SEC as a basketball conference come, the end of February into the first week of March, you may need to be in the 23-24 win column to have any shot at going into the NCAA tournament. Who knows? Now, you've got, I don't know how the SEC proves itself. That's going to be tough because they're going to beat the hell out of each other. And you've got some tough matchups. You've got the SEC Big 12 matchup. Maybe the SEC can sweep the Big 12. And you guys know I think the Big 12 is a really good basketball conference. And they could be really good this year. Maybe that'll make an impression. I think it's going to come down to, the amount of ranked teams. And, obviously we're going to take a look at Ken Pom and go from there. But you set yourself up like the way, especially with that loss to Hofstra, it's going to be tough. I'm going to say right now, I think their ceiling is tournament. I'm completely backed off the Sweet 16. I'm not there anymore. I'm on the – I think their ceiling is making the tournament. They're going to be matchup. They're going to have to face some difficult matchups throughout the season. We'll see how they deal with them. Last year, Arkansas, obviously – you saw how last year played out. They got hot towards the end of the year. They made some roster changes. Musselman talked about that not long ago, about making a couple of changes, and then it just kind of everything started to click. That could happen this year. If that happens, then we'll see. Maybe we'll revisit after 5-6 games of SEC play. Maybe we'll revisit the idea of where Arkansas basketball ceiling is. I would argue right now It's just making the tournament, maybe barely getting in. Probably needing some tournament wins, the SEC tournament. Probably needing 2-3 wins there. Going to have to make an impression on people in the SEC tournament. I feel like that's where we're leaning. So probably leaning towards Arkansas not making the tournament. That's about where I'm at, somewhere right there on the cusp. I think they have the tools. I think they have the pieces. I think they have the quality depth. But in basketball, it's about getting 5 guys that have a certain chemistry on the floor and can do that game in and game out throughout the grind of a much improved SEC basketball conference. This is probably, I mean, you look at these last several years, this is some of the best SEC basketball we've seen. And Musselman has thrived in it. I mean, he really has. He went above and beyond year one. No one thought that guy would win as many games. And he won, he did a little bit of damage in the SEC tournament. One game. And then last year, you saw the run that he went on. He got all the way to the Elite Eight. He continues to prove people wrong. I don't know this year. It seems to me like, and he's made the comment now about how difficult this team is to coach. We've heard him say that. I've never heard him say that before. Going back to when he was first hired, getting through that season, and I don't ever recall him saying anything like that. Maybe he did and I missed it. That's a pretty telling thing. And then you talk about the point guard position, what's going on there, the turnover, the assist to turnover ratio should be way higher than it is for Arkansas. At least I think so. It could be a lot higher. Likes and JD Note, I stand by what I said. They'll win you as many games as they'll lose you. And it's about the quality shots, right? The taking better looks or keeping or trying your best to get a little bit more ball movement and opening up more shots and creating your own shots instead of dribble, shoot, which we've seen less of lately. We have. Likes, I think, is starting to understand. JD Note, we're seeing him actually move the ball inside. I wish they posted up better. I wish they defended the 3 better. I wish they were better outside. I wish their overall shot selection was better. I don't think it's the end of the road for this team. I'm not saying that I feel like they're automatically not a tournament team. I think their ceiling is tournament. But the more I watch them, the more I think, boy, they're gonna have to have the right matchups in postseason play, tournament play to make a good run. Last year's team, I didn't feel that way. I felt like there are no matchup issues. I said that repeatedly. I don't feel like this team had any, or at the time last year, I didn't feel like they needed a good matchup to win games. They had the athletic ability, the size, they had everything you needed to go on a good deep run in the tournament. I felt pretty strongly when I said at the beginning of last year, going into conference play, I said straight up, this is a Sweet 16 caliber team. We'll see if they get there. This year, I think they're a tournament caliber team, but I feel like they're going to be on the outside looking in. They could be a bubble team that just misses. We'll see. So, what do you guys think? And let me know. I mean, for those of you watching this after the fact or watching here now live, we need a cushion. January has got to be our month like March was last year. Yeah, they're going to need, of course, you want them playing hot at the end of February like they did last year. You want them on fire. You want them to just get it all figured out, right? Into February, and they're clicking like they did last year, and you go on this run. And yeah, you lost in the SEC tournament, but I really think they were looking so far ahead. And LSU was a difficult matchup for the Hogs. They really were. LSU was a difficult matchup for them last year. But I still felt like Arkansas was the better team. Clearly, they made the better run. They went all the way to the Elite Eight. You want them to catch fire at the end of February, for sure. Those final 2-3 weeks, you'd love to see those final 6 games. All of a sudden, it just clicks. You'd rather it now. Might take a little bit. Cody Phillips says NIT for the Hogs. That could be the case. Edward Hatcher says, I don't see us making the tourney this year. Michael Kopetsky says, guys, the Hogs are not losing every game on the road this year. Our roster is good enough to go 500. Nick Yates says Hogs are going to win at least 10 in SEC play. A&M and Georgia are garbage this year. West Virginia is average at best. Our schedule gives us a shot. Yeah, I mean, Michael, I think that right now, what is Arkansas? Think if you were think about it if you were a Georgia fan looking at this and you're like, well, we get to host Arkansas, who got blown out by an unranked, a team with, a new coach, a little bit of a roster change up, and they got blown out in what was really a home court advantage in Tulsa, at least from everyone who I've talked to who's either there or people in our Discord. We had a couple of people who went, and someone else DM'd me and was talking about it and said that Arkansas felt very much in favor of the Razorbacks in Tulsa, which is crazy to think about. But how would you feel? And then you lost to Hofstra. Like, I don't get it. Like, I think you're looking at it with your hog goggles on. Maybe everyone's viewing Arkansas as the team that, like, what are we talking about here? They have 2 embarrassing losses with a weak non-conference schedule. So I think the way you're talking about Georgia and A&M, I think their fans are talking about Arkansas. I think you got to take the hog-colored goggles off for a minute. I just haven't seen the fixes, and sometimes it takes you, I feel like we've been saying that all year, though. Like, where are they in the rebuild here? You have a huge roster turnover here. You're missing 3 key pieces from a year ago. I just don't know. I'm not saying Muss isn't the guy. I think the turnover is more difficult than we want to admit. Smith, Tate, Moody, those are 3 big pieces. And like Gerard Collins says, talent isn't the issue. It's teamwork. That's exactly right. It's about having the right chemistry on the floor. And can Muss get it figured out? I do have confidence that he's capable of doing it. And like I said, I think their ceiling is making the tournament for sure. Today is Nolan's birthday. I didn't know it was 80th. I thought it was like 82. I didn't know it was 80th. Happy birthday to the legend, Coach Nolan. Richards. Coach Muss needs to get some pointers from Coach Pittman and get those guys playing harder. Get in their hearts, and then get in their heads, says Dwight Raleigh. Maybe you're right. I feel like if there's anybody who could get the most out of his guys, it is Musselman. Cody Phillips says, until they win more games, the 2 losses have lowered my expectations. Yeah, I agree with you, Cody. The Hofstra game has me in the doubtful category. We got to have a major change in our identity, says Mike and him. Yeah. The Oklahoma game, I kind of looked at it like, all right, it was one of those matchup problems we've been kind of talking about, and I think that is a part of it. I think Arkansas's roster's better. I think their talent's better. I think the coaching is better, although there's a little bit of a history there. But I felt like everything Arkansas has to offer is better. Oklahoma just has it figured out, and I think they've had some tougher matchups in Arkansas. And I think through that adversity, Oklahoma figured out what they needed, plus it was a little bit of a matchup issue for the Hogs. That was a big game for OU. Arkansas, here comes Arkansas in a neutral site, ranked, a lot of hype on this win streak. There's no doubt in my mind Oklahoma circled that matchup. And I think you could say the same for a lot of these non-conference games. Conference play, I don't know that you're going to see that as much. Maybe you'll catch someone snoozing on the Hogs a little bit. Maybe that's this weekend or this week. Oh, they lost to Hofstra and OU. These guys, what? Maybe we'll catch somebody sleeping and we'll get some. I do think, too, if you want to talk about a team that's capable of getting some upsets, I do think Arkansas is capable of getting some upsets because of the talent we talked about. It's just about getting the right chemistry on the floor. The difference is the football players play for each other. Basketball players play for themselves. That's a good, yeah. The Hofstra took Houston to OT. And I'm not saying Hofstra's an atrocious team, but I felt like that was a game you should have won, without a doubt. Should have won that game. Hoggy Bones did a video of the announcers just dragging likes over being selfish. Yeah, and I think that was a reactionary video by Hoggy Bones. That's probably one of the very few videos he's ever done where I just disagreed with. I think the criticism was on point. I really do. I think the criticism of likes was on point. Sometimes we got to step out of our hog fan circle and look at it through some different lenses or something. I don't know. Look at it with different glasses on. I think that the criticisms of likes was on point. And it continued to plague Arkansas through the next several games. I get like, I get it. Hofstra, I see what you're doing, Collins, but you should have won that game. Should have beat them. You should have beat them in Little Rock. I don't care if, they beat those teams. I mean, I'm not saying they're a great team or a bad team, but where would you put them? Are we talking about a tournament team? Is Hofstra a tournament-capable team? I don't think so. Hofstra is, and I remember talking about that going into that game. Like, they are battle-tested. Arkansas was not a game for Hofstra to be scared of. They're 8-5 right now. Maybe they are a tournament team. I don't know, but they lost to Richmond 81-68. They lost to Iona 82-74. They lost to, I don't even know who this is, Stony Brook 79-62. So, I mean, we could sit here and talk about some of the games that they barely lost. Let's talk about some of the games that they lost to, not so great opponents. I don't know that I'm looking at Hofstra. Maybe they do make the tournament. I don't know. But I felt like that was a game Arkansas should have won. They play in the CAA, James Madison, Delaware, Towson, Charleston, Northeastern, UNC, Wilmington, Drexel. Elon is in their conference, and William and Mary, who's currently 1-12. James Madison's currently 9-2 in the CAA. Yeah, we do this every year. We talk about some team that Arkansas lost to or whatever. We go back and we look at their win-loss category. You look at their strength of schedule. It's not real tough. Again, they play in the CAA. So I right now, I don't think with an 8-5 record, I don't know that Elon or that Hofstra is a team we're talking about when it comes tournament time. Maybe. I don't know. It would not surprise me if both OU and Hofstra. OU wouldn't surprise me. OU would not surprise me. I think right now Hofstra would surprise me if they made the tournament. All right, we're running into some issues. I'm getting some warnings here. YouTube's having some problems. We're going to cut it off there. We're going to cut it off here. We're going to end it. Thank you, guys. We will be back Wednesday and Wednesday night. So we'll discuss more about Penn State. We got a lot more to talk about. And then, of course, our last, which will probably be Thursday. Again, I don't plan on going live on Friday. But on Thursday, probably do a PM show on Thursday. We'll discuss. We'll get our picks in. We'll talk about Penn State. We'll go from there. I'm excited. Of course, that day we'll take your scores. We'll talk about MVPs. I'm really excited for it. So I will see you guys again on Wednesday. I don't know if you can still hear me or not. Maybe you can. If you can't, I'm talking to myself. Whatever. I'll see you guys Wednesday morning. And yeah, Woo Pig, go Hawks.